Did you take their daughter or anything like that? They don't want any of this stuff. So.
Travis, that's really inappropriate.
Yeah, I should be careful.
I think
watch your tweets, bro.
If you take one thing away from this is Dylan's amount of time playing Oblivion. His haggling skill has transitioned into the real world.
Oh, what a funny joke! I love the personality wheel in Oblivion. It's hilarious. You know that? No?
I can't remember that.
You can't remember that? So when you're talking, Travis, I know you always get salty whenever anyone wants to talk about something that you don't care about. It's like, dude, just give me a break. I'm trying to tell a funny story.
Tell your funny story. Keep it. Let's go.
So, okay, in Oblivion...
Hello, dancing demon. We're going to intro the show in a second.
In Oblivion, because in all the other Scrolls games, there's a different way to like persuade people. And in Oblivion, you open up this little wheel. It has 4 options on it. One of them is like tell a joke. One of them is like tell a compliment. One of them is like insult them. And so, like different NPCs all have different reactions to those, and you can like scroll around and see how they're gonna react to which ones. And it just like it's really awkward and jarring because it doesn't make any sense. You're just having a conversation with someone, and like their expression goes from like incredibly happy to just like super pissed off, like back and forth, and it will happen like 40 times in one conversation. So it's very unimmersive, but it's actually quite fun to do because there's like some planning involved. And anyway, so we talk about glass.
It's funny, you know, talking about someone and go juvenile to, you know...
Juvenile?
Jovial.
Juvenile?
Jovial to
Juvenile.
Being pissed off
juvenile.
very quickly, you know.
Ha ha.
It can happen.
Ha.
Hello, ladies and...
Sorry, did I do something?
Fuck my life.
Give me 5 minutes, Chris.
Ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 203rd episode of the GeekVerse podcast. I am the sweaty Travis now.
I am the Adam Hardcaster, Dylan Mice.
Why are you sweaty?
I'll explain in a second.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's a fan right behind you, and AC right there. I can't do anything else.
It's not an
It's a
actual
rare
sweat.
molecular disease.
I am the Bumblebee Taylor Field.
Bumblicious. And this guy making a rare appearance.
I'm the clueless Tyler Briggs.
Clueless.
Okay. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is day 2 of Comic-Con coverage, so you can go back and check out day 1. You can check out our fantasy superhero draft. You can check out the Hunka Hunka news. You can check out, we did a big discussion on the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie.
Isn't this day 3, or did we just do like other news?
We
right
did
before Comic-Con?
that. It's technically preview night. It's like day 0.5. They let people walk around and stuff like that, so you can see what we thought about the Titans trailer. You know, so yeah, we're doing this, and then tomorrow we will be discussing DC. That's the big one tomorrow. You got Aquaman, you got Shazam, Wonder Woman, so tomorrow should be a pretty big one. And we should be getting the Aquaman trailers. For this newscast today, we're going to talk about the news that I have in the description. The Venom trailer. We don't know if there's going to be a Venom trailer that drops. Are you trying to look at something on the screen here?
Just don't look there.
It's a
very interesting title. So
I know it is, and that's why I display it proudly.
But
my mom gave it to me.
Based on
it's a book about traveling. It's a guy who lived in some country that I don't even know the name of because it's more of like a city-state, really.
Okay.
Like a true story?
Now,
it's his adventure.
Is the entire...
He was upset with his life anyway, so he goes on this full power journey, and
The name definitely says full power.
this is the
Yeah.
book. So
Interesting.
I'm guessing he doesn't talk about actual cannibalism. I think it's more metaphorical. But I'm only a few pages.
Oh,
No cannibalism yet.
At some point, maybe
cannibalism
he
yet.
travels and visits a tribe of cannibals, and he
Possible.
learns about them, and for whatever reason, they respect
Maybe
him enough not
bite
to
off his leg or something. Hannibal
It
style.
could be.
Hashtag save Hannibal.
Here's your transition.
How is that out?
Because Mads Mikkelsen is a transmission. A transmission.
Juvenile.
For my engine.
So yes, tomorrow's DC. That should be a big day. Venom. We don't know if there's gonna be a trailer, so there might be a point in this podcast if you're watching live that we will point. We will pause and watch and come back. We don't know. Comic-Con is kind of always on the air with trailers. Taylor, what did you drop last night for the last plugs? And we'll get into.
What did you drop?
I dropped something big. 30 minutes worth. It was great. Godzilla.
Calm down.
Godzilla 2, City on the Edge of Battle. The anime on Netflix. The name is a little
I
weird.
love that name.
But it's
That's what they should call the
It's an
second
interesting name
Fantastic
for a
Beasts.
second.
It's very interesting. It's very long. But it's it's an experience. Go check out that cool thing. Kirkland
It's
loves
an
those.
experience.
Kirkland hearted it.
That's
He loves
unbelievable.
it.
Yeah. That's all you have to say on that?
Is that all yeah, I think so.
Yeah, okay, and then I was just gonna, what was I gonna say? Dylan Taylor know about this, Tyler doesn't know because he's 20 minutes late. So I just wanted to do a shout out. If you guys listen to this podcast, if we're the only podcast you listen to, that's great, and we're happy about that. But I imagine if you listen to this podcast, you're into many other podcasts as far as TV or video games or movies go. And if you're in the film community, the nerd community, if it's alive, and even then it's going to be talked about this whole weekend, you know about that John Schnepp passed away today. It's a big thing for the podcast community, and I want to shout out because when we started this podcast, before we did, I had listened to only 4 podcasts at the time. It was IGN, Kevin Smith, Kinda Funny, and Collider. And Collider they do exactly what my dream job is to do, where every day they do, you know, a morning show, they do an afternoon show, they do like just news shows like we do, and they do this movie talk. And if you're a fan of that, you know that he's been on there forever. And with John Schnepp, he has been on there since almost the beginning. So the past 5 years, I've been a big movie talk fan, big schmoes fan, and I listen to this guy about 5 to 10 hours a week, every week for the past 5 years. And it's just a big shout out because he's such a huge pillar in the comic book community, and this is the first Comic-Con he's missed in a long time. Obviously, he made the big documentary film, The Death of Superman Lives. It was a movie about Superman. They were making a Superman movie with Nicolas Cage, actually, and he makes it. It's a 2-hour documentary about Christopher Walken was the villain and everything like this and whatnot. So, just as somebody that, like, when you start this, you look at people and you look up to them, and he's definitely one of those pillars you look up to in the community. So a big shout out to him. Go to Holly Payne's Twitter, that's his fiance. Please support them in the medical bills because it's ridiculous the amount of medical bills that they have because he was in the hospital for so long. So if you can help out anyway. But yeah, just a shout out to him, and I'm dedicating this podcast to him because he's one of those people that you look up to. And I like anytime we get messages about, hey, you helped me through work or this or that, like, man, sometimes life's shit, and people like that and those podcasts those are things that help me out, whether it's a bad day, whether people went through a breakup, whether it's job shit, like when you can just lose yourself for a little bit in a podcast, and something like this where it's very similar, where they talk about personal stuff, and I even talked to him a few times on Twitter, like, that it feels, you know, not like I wouldn't say a friend, but it's just something like people like, you know, Greg talks to us from Patreon, or there's other people that message us and we have these conversations that are, you know, about geek stuff, but it's not just like, oh, hey, how's it going? Like, you know, like we got a message from a fan today, or a couple weeks ago, it's about Hunka Hunka, so some questionable stuff, but they said, hey, we had a long drive and the drive, like that really helped with the drive. Yeah. So for me, he's one of those guys that did that for me. So just a big shout out to him and his family and all Collider. And Collider's doing a 24-hour stream right now of just his best moments, so check it out. I've been watching it all day. So, yeah. Let's get, and I guess I should, thank you. I guess I should also preference this next topic, the biggest topic, is usually we don't talk about really political or really serious stuff in this cast. We like this cast to be escapism. We like to, you know, we make a Trump joke here and there, but we've never had to sit down and be like, why should you not vote for Trump? You know, we try to make it so you can come in here, like I said, forget a breakup, forget bad work, forget the politic issues, just come here and have some fun. So today, we're going to talk about the James Gunn situation. So there's going to be a little political talking about, because it's just, we can't really avoid it, right? He's a huge director. He directed Guardians 1, 2, Guardians 3 was starting production like months from now. The script is done, everything like that. So it's something that, you know, it would feel a little weird just like, oh yeah, he's not directing, not to talk about it at all. So I'll set the situation up and I'll throw it to you guys. So today, some tweets were, I guess, resurfaced from about 2010 of, I guess, you know, edgy or racy jokes that he had made about rape or pedophilia and stuff like that. And on a personal level, I read them, and yeah, they're kind of a little creepy, just to be honest. But so that happens, and then I'll pull up the statements from all of them. So that happened this morning. And then it was, I think, 8 or something in the morning, and then Disney put out a statement where, okay.
So many tabs.
I got too many tabs. The offensive attitudes and statements discovered on James' Twitter feed are indefensible and inconsistent with our own studio values, and we have severed our business relationship with him. They announced that he'll no longer be directing Guardians 3. And then James Gunn put out a statement saying, my words of nearly a decade ago were, at the time, totally failed and unfortunate efforts to be provocative. I have regretted them for many years since, not just because they were stupid, not at all funny, widely insensitive, and certainly not provocative like I had hoped. but because they don't reflect the person I am today or I have been for some time. Regardless how much time has passed, I understand and accept the business decisions taken today. Even though they were many years ago, I take full responsibility for the way I conducted myself then. All I can do now, beyond offering my sincere and heartfelt regret, is be the best human being I can. Accepting, understanding, committing to equality, and far more thoughtful about my public statements and obligations to the public discourse. To everyone inside my industry and beyond, I again offer my deepest apologies, love to all. So that was, and then he was also supposed to be on a Sony panel tonight. He was going to be not dropping a movie, but there's an announcement of a movie. He is not on that. So obviously, big news as far as just like obviously in a personal way. This is tweets that might offend you, might not. But even then, we always talk about like DC and them losing directors, this and that. And I think when we did our Marvel Retro early on, we said, oh, like some stuff happened here, but it's been quite a while since Disney and Marvel's had like a shakeup of losing any big star or recasting. So I guess, yeah, what do you think about this? And obviously there's a big debate right now of people saying, hey, these were years ago, he apologized at one point, he shouldn't be fired. Then there's the other side like, hey, like these were really offensive, you should go. So I guess where do you guys fall on? Because it's walking on thin ice for us to be talking about, because it's a very touchy subject, but we're gonna do our best to talk about it.
Yeah, for me, there's some information that's not given here for sure, because obviously Disney knew about these tweets the moment they started working with him. They have all the resources. It's not like it was hidden, it was just in his Twitter.
Yeah.
Anyone can go read that. So they've known about this for a long time. So it makes me curious if there's something else going on, like whether it was direction or maybe the way he was. Maybe I was reading around today, and I don't really like to get into this rumor. He said bullshit of Hollywood anyway, but apparently he's not like the best person to work with on set, and so I'm wondering if like it's more other things behind the scenes that those are the reasons they don't want to work with him anymore, and they're just throwing this as like the reason why.
Because it's a hot issue right now. That came up. Yeah, because the big thing what happened was some people noticed that like his tweets weren't from 12,000 to 10,000, and he had tried to delete all these tweets, but then obviously people had them kind of stored up, ready to go. And once again, this it started funny enough, and this way you gotta be careful on Twitter. He was, I guess, apparently in some debate about Trump and whatnot, and
that was like the recent one, right?
That was that happened this morning, and that just progressed where some people then brought those tweets like, oh, you said this, and then so kind of snowballed. Yeah,
weird situation, and I don't know. I don't feel like we will get any more information. I feel like they're gonna leave it at that.
Yeah.
And just kind of move on. I'm obviously I read some of what he said too, and it's like it's just really stupid and regressive. Like it's not really, none of it I didn't find funny. Obviously it was a different time and all,
but it's not even that like offensive humor where it's like, okay, I could see what you're going for, and it's not even that type of humor for me where it's like you laugh like, ooh, that's bad. It was just like, I don't know. It was just like,
it was trying to cause a reaction.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I guess
he got a reaction 10 years later.
So
whatever
that happens.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes behind the scenes on these movie sets that we don't know about. I think what he did is shitty, and I think it was a long time ago. Maybe he's changed, maybe he hasn't. I still would have preferred if he was working on this movie. It would have been the first like Marvel trilogy that would have like the same director. I think that would be cool. And I mean, I don't know if like from the first one, if he knew he would be getting a trilogy out of this. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Guardians wasn't a success. I guess it was kind of a risk that they even did that in the first place. So maybe not. Maybe he didn't know. But
he had fully written the third one though now, so that was
I mean, you can imagine. I can imagine that when he was making the second one or writing it or directing it, that he probably had a good idea of what he was going to do in the third one as well. I guess some of it changes depending on what happens in other films throughout the universe. But I don't know. I would have liked to see his story finish there. I don't really blame Disney for firing him over this. It makes sense. I mean, Disney also kind of has a shady past, but I feel like everyone kind of. Not everyone, that's a bad thing to say. There's a lot of companies that have shady pasts. Well, I think it's just different times. I mean, Disney has such a history where, racism wasn't seen as what it is today, and obviously they have that in their history as well, way back. So
I think everyone has a shady past. I think it's just the thing now where the world works that if that shady past is discovered or re-brought up, that now there's consequences for it.
Social media, everything is talked about by thousands and thousands of people.
And it's blown up right away.
Anything, or people who do know stuff. It's just like a big murky mess, right?
All you need is a hashtag something, and then it's trending and it's gone, right? And then it's like the issues
Off in the
muddled.
interwebs there forever.
Briggs, what are you thinking about this?
I just actually looked at a couple of those tweets, and yeah, like the way it would describe them is just distasteful. There's very.
Are you going to look at the tweets?
I've
today?
seen
More
tweets.
tweets. It's like, and yeah, like as Dylan said, it's just like it. You can't even see, like you can sort of see that maybe he wants to do like an edgy joke, but it just doesn't come across as a joke. The delivery is just like he's saying like a statement.
Just a bad statement.
Yeah, and it's just like that. Like it's just pretty bad. And as far as like I feel like there's definitely a lot more to it than just those tweets as far as firing him from Disney. But I mean, if someone's tweeting that kind of stuff and he's a grown man, maybe if someone tweeted something kind of sketchy when they're like 20 and then maybe they're 30, 40 now, and you can understand that they've changed as a person. If there's a grown man tweeting something and then he's still a grown man 10 years later, you don't change that much as a person, I would say, over that. I mean, that's a very blanket statement, but
You can't say that.
in general, I would say that would definitely reflect, for me at least, I could see someone who makes those kind of jokes causing some issues. Maybe Disney put up with it for a time because it was working, or maybe they're taking a risk with him.
Well, to be clear, all these tweets were before Disney hired him. So I think
Except
there's
for the Trump stuff.
Except for the Trump stuff, yeah. I think there's a chance they knew about, but I think just back then it was like, well, this isn't a big deal.
Yeah.
These tweets are around,
Very
right?
true.
Like in 2012, like it was
Yeah, true.
culture wasn't the way it was now, you know. And there's a chance, I guess they didn't know, but I would think Disney would have somebody be like, check everything about this person before we hire them direct a Marvel movie. And if they don't, then I give Disney more
The
credit
world's
than I
most
did.
expensive background check for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I mean, I don't know where I was going with that, but
Because we can do.
yeah, it's hard to say whether he should get fired or whatnot. But I mean, I 100% understand why Disney's doing it, and in the culture that we have around this sort of thing right now, that they pretty much had no other option.
Yeah.
Like these big issues definitely would maybe they could financially kind of get past it or whatnot, and maybe they lose some merch, people boycott the movie or something. But
well, and it comes up on the press tour when Guardians 3 comes out, that
PR
gets
is
all
gonna be
brought up
there.
and everything. You know, somebody asks them in an interview, like, oh, so those tweets, you know, and like they got to deal with this, and it's like,
yeah, it's like they could work through it, but it's just so much easier on their part to just cut ties and figure something else out.
Taylor Field, what are your thoughts on this?
What the fuck is this?
This is
There's tweets. Jesus.
Yeah.
And I don't care what day and age, you're talking about this shit online. You don't talk about this shit online.
Well,
I thought it was something like he said something like just a basic racist term. I thought that's what it was. We're reading this. This is disgusting.
Well, that's the problem nowadays, and that's where you have the divide, and that's where like I'm on the side of I do agree that he should have been let go, but it is tough because we're in a culture now where some people will say a joke or something little, and people get really offended and blow it out of proportion. So you have some people that still say, hey, he is being humorous and he apologized, and they're still blown out of proportion. But for me, it's like when I see those tweets, it's just, and for me, it's also the quantity of them. There's a lot of those tweets. It's not just like one or two. It's like, you know what, he made a stupid joke, whatever. We've all done and said stupid stuff. But like when it's like there's like 30 tweets that are screenshot there, it's like, I don't know, this was.
At some point, it's not a joke anymore.
Yeah, like at some point, somebody would have been like, "Hey, James, maybe don't make these type of jokes." But Taylor would have
got to stop.
Yeah.
He didn't have a PR person.
No, not back then. No, he's just making indie films. Like, oh, go ahead, James.
I don't know. I mean, like, people can be funny. People can try and do like jokes and stuff like that. But I mean, like, time and place or everything. Like, if you're with like your best friends or whatever, and you guys know each other's humor, that's great. But if you're on the internet with billions of people looking at what you're gonna post, that's a totally different story.
Yeah.
The stuff he posted was extremely disrespectful, really, really bad. Granted, it definitely, I don't understand why Disney just disregarded it. I guess they weren't aware of it, at the time, like 10 years later, like, oh, you come work for us and stuff like that. And I don't know, that was a little weird, but I mean, you're right, like what people don't have like shady past or whatever. Not like everyone has like a shady past, but everyone's at least like slipped a stupid joke or something like that out of their mouth at one point in their life. So
except for JJ.
Except for JJ.
Clean as a whistle.
Like,
he's actually a robot.
He just deleted his Twitter right now to be safe.
But I think it's that's just completely just nuts. And I mean, I'm glad I looked at those because I was really neutral and I was like fighting for the little guy.
We were talking about in the car, yeah.
Over. I'm like, nah.
Fight for the little.
I would
fight for this little guy.
No, because my defense is like innocent until proven guilty.
And I told him like, well, it's his Twitter, so there's no like proof.
It's quite literally.
Yeah, it's his own words. It's not like, what did you compare it? Oh, you compared it to the Chris Hardwick situation.
Yeah,
sexual allegations when he's under investigation. Yeah.
And they just replaced him. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this is definite proof.
Well, that's where I piggyback on when you say like, oh, they just replaced. But that's the thing where people talk about freedom of speech, and that is a big thing. But people have to understand, and I guess you can get mad, but Disney has every right to have the freedom to fire a person.
Yeah.
Like it's their company. It's not. And especially with their company, yes, they make adult films, like not adult film, but they make like a bit more, maybe like Infinity War is a bit more, or Black Panther, but primary their fan base or who they're appealing to is family and children, pretty much, right? I won't just say children because that's a blank statement, but I'd say families, and of course they get the fanboys with Star Wars and Marvel, but it's exactly their statement, and there could be more behind the scenes, but I'm just gonna say, let's just say if I take that out, it's just based on these tweets. It doesn't fit the brand, and it is something that, yeah, during the press tour, during all this, it's going to get brought up. Like, I don't think on the red carpet of Guardians 3 when there's little Groot and Rocket, they want to be talking about, like, hey, James Gunn, like, why'd you make those jokes about being, a pedophile or something like that, Like, that's where it like, right away, like, everyone would feel awkward. The cast would feel really awkward. These questions are still going to come, unfortunately. They're going to ask, like, oh, how'd you feel about the shakeup, which I'm going to ask you guys in a second. And the other thing is, I get a lot of people saying, because he did apologize for this in 2012 and now he's apologizing again, and I do understand people saying, hey, these are old tweets and he apologized, what more do you want? And I guess like the best way, and like honestly I'll get like really personal with this, the best way I can equate this is recently I had a big falling out with a friend of mine who's like, me and them were very close, and we were like, they're very special to me, and we had a big falling out. And when you have a falling out or like an argument, you do things and you say things that are in the heat of the moment, and then later on you go, oh, maybe I shouldn't say that, and you go back and you regret. Unfortunately, in my timeline right now, and like I go and say, hey, you know what, I shouldn't have said that, I shouldn't have done that, and they kind of go, you know what, maybe right now we still shouldn't be friends or each other's lives, and that sucks. But the thing is, I can go and apologize, but it doesn't take away what happened, right? It's like if I go and punch somebody and right away I say sorry, it doesn't matter because they still have a bruise. And that's the thing where it's like, he did say sorry, he did apologize, and that's good. He's not standing by being like, oh yeah, like these are great jokes, but at the end of the day, he apologized, but there's still consequences for his action, and that's what I think some people are just thinking that, oh, the second, because he apologized, it should all be fine. That's like, unfortunately, or fortunately, that's not the way it works. You have to, you gotta lay in the bed you was made.
The way you made it.
No.
You gotta lay in the bed the way you made it.
Yeah, you just there's a reaction for every action, and that's what this is. So it's unfortunate, but at the same time, I am on the camp where I get people's sides of SJ Warriors and all this and PC culture, but at the same time, with this time, I think Disney maybe made the right call. Now, I guess where we can shift away from like the really serious stuff and the like more fanboy side, what happens with Guardians 3 now? Because Guardians 2 came out, big success, and I guess I would start off that way. For me, I love both films. As far as taking his, like, what happened today on Twitter, I'm very sad that he's gone from just, like, a film standpoint, because I love Guardians 1, I love Guardians 2 even more, and I was excited to see what he would do to close out his trilogy. And even then, him and Feige had talked about creating, like, more cosmic film universe in the universe films in the Marvel. So clearly, to me, he was like a pillar that they had many plans to do things with. He had set up Guardians 3. He had wrote Guardians 3. What do we do now?
So because he's gone, what he wrote for Guardians 3, is that gone with him?
Well, that's what I was going to ask. So he has an entire script, and you would think that script is based on the previous events of 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. Do they keep that script? Because if they keep that script, the way the Film Guild works, you would have to credit him as a director. It's the same way as Another serious conversation. Bryan Singer directed the X-Men movies, had some sexual allegations against him, and he directed Bohemian Rhapsody, but he didn't do the last 3 weeks. But because he directed the majority of the film, they have to credit him as the director. That's the way the guild works. It's a big thing. So that's the thing. If they use his script, they have to credit him, and I don't think they're going to want to credit him after this. So do you do a full rewrite? Like, I do think this film gets pushed, and like a hashtag, I'm just gonna try to lighten this up. Trash told you, I did say it's one of my watch. He's not gonna direct this movie. The second it broke, it's just because the way today works, that news comes out, it's gone. So, what do you do with Guardians 3?
I think it gets delayed for sure. I think
Disney for sure gets delayed. Yeah,
Disney is
Ron
not
Howard.
going. Ron Howard. They're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna credit him whatsoever.
No.
I think that.
Not right now. No.
Not right now. I think that Disney has proven one thing. It's good about shaking around its directors on its projects and stuff like that. So I think.
Example though, Thor: Dark World had problems, and that was a big shakeup. Clearly, long time from now. Ant-Man also had problems, and that was a good movie. So I'm just saying there has been a time where Dark World happened, and people are like that's the weakest one, right? So it has happened before. So,
but not since. So.
Not since. So this is their 50% right now, right?
Yeah.
So we got to see what happens now. So.
I mean, they could always pull the Star Wars routine and be like, we're gonna take our already established directors that have proven themselves and give them the rights to this. So they could take a director from their previously well established.
So who do you
Marvel
take then?
movies.
That's what I was gonna say.
I don't know. All the directors.
No,
really.
you don't need to know the name, but like, think about the Marvel films right now. Which one do you like, or which one would you take? And I can tell you the director's name when you get there.
I would take Black Panther.
Really, you're gonna put Ryan Coogler? You're gonna give serious Black Panther? Guardians.
I feel serious, but I feel like there's some good humor in that movie too. But I feel like the way
it's a bold choice.
I feel like taking him for the humor though.
There are better options.
Unless they're like, hey, Guardians 3 is gonna get really dark, so we're bringing in Coogler.
Well, Black Panther or Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Okay, I can see the Homecoming one. Yeah.
Who did that one again?
John Watts. He did Cop Car. He did Clown. Yeah. Yeah. They love their indie
those
directors.
are just random nouns that you.
Yeah.
Movie names. I think I know how to spell his name, but I don't know how to pronounce it. Thor Ragnarok guy.
Taika Waititi.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I mean, I haven't seen any of his other movies yet. I really want to watch that vampire one.
Yeah,
I
think we say this every week. But
it's on my queue on Netflix.
It's so good.
Instead, I watched another Tarantino movie this week. But I don't know. I would have to see how his humor is in other films because obviously the Ragnarok, like there were certain characters and jokes that. You obviously with Guardians you already have these established characters, so you want to stay with that certain style.
Yeah.
And I think he could. I think he has maybe the best chance to do it. Plus, like how colorful that movie was, and the way music was used throughout it. I think that could fit Guardians well.
Yeah, because that was a go-to. I thought right away, and then I went, no, I don't want that because I remembered my biggest problems with Thor Ragnarok is I feel like you didn't do the emotional stuff well, and I love the human Guardians, but the biggest stuff I love about Guardians is the emotional stuff, like with Peter's mom and his dad in the second one, and Drax's family, and like we talk about in our review, we all have problems with like, Odin dies, they move really quickly, you know, and we said there's some moments with Thor and Loki that felt really rushed, and that's my worry that I think humor-wise, if they want just a funny Guardians movie, he is the perfect choice. Like, I think, because it's
I don't know, I think some of the humor, though, comes down to who else is writing as well, because did he write and direct?
Let me find out, because Thor Ragnarok probably has, like, I know Spider-Man Homecoming had, like, 7 writers, so these Marvel
movies, I would think
out.
They're going to have at least a couple other writers in there who, can really write some stuff directed for these characters in particular.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, if you look at, I know it's slightly different in comparison, but if you look, he did the, third Thor movie coming off of not doing the other ones, and that was a sharp incline. Obviously, it's different because Guardians already has a really high standard. But if the humor's there already because you have such funny characters, you have a funny world, you have other writers who are writing, good jokes for these characters, and maybe he can, like, try to focus in on those emotional things, I still think whoever does it should, if they can, read through the script that James Gunn wrote and get some ideas of what he wanted to do with some of these characters.
Yeah.
Not necessarily use anything he wrote, but just see kind of what his idea was and give you some idea for some emotion.
But it's sucky that way because it feels like 2 is like leading to certain places with these characters. Like obviously Peter and Gamora relationship. They set up Adam Warlock in the post-credit scene, so it's like you almost have to go there. But because if you don't go there, then it's just like, do you Thor Ragnarok it? Do you do it all in the first 15 minutes and then
it's always hard to say really what happens in these boardroom meetings, but I'm sure Feige and his boys.
This is a tough one for Feige. Let's see.
I'm sure that they discuss everything, or not everything, but most things that happen throughout these movies anyway. In terms of what characters are you going to hone in on, what kind of storylines are you going to do. I don't know. I'm guessing it wasn't necessarily James Gunn's idea to have like in the first movie to hint at using Star-Lord's father as a character that would come up later, and then boom, he's the villain of the second movie. I don't know if that was his idea or if that was
I
like.
think it was, but I don't know. It could be. You don't know because it could be like him and Feige together being like, "What if we?"
I would
did
imagine
this?
it's like with the way how well like these movies are connected and how like similar like theme and the way they're shot, like a lot of similarities. I'm guessing that there's always, you know, a few people behind the scenes who are checking these things, people who are working on all these movies together. Obviously Feige, but I'm sure there's a bunch of other that we don't give any credit to, and I'm so sorry if you're one of those people.
Yeah, Taika Waititi, he had 3 other writers. He didn't write it, but the reason I'm crediting Taika is because all the cast and crew said like he was big on improv, and they said like 60% of that movie's improv, which is like his other movies. So I'd say him, and then had 3 other writers as well. So yeah, so he can work with other people as well. So
if you bring him, does his green screen come with him?
his green screen
What does that mean?
On the cliff edge?
Oh boy, that's
yeah, that's something. If they're going into space, they need to get that figured out quick. Taika, lose the green screen.
Look how beautiful this is. No, Odin, it's not. So Briggs, what do? You're sitting in this office. You see these tweets go. James, you gotta go, and now because Guardians, yeah, we're supposed to.
I can just picture Feige's face as he's like scrolling down. Oh no, and it just keeps going. There's like hundreds of these tweets. It's like when will it stop?
I will
It's
say,
just a song.
I will say, in retrospective, it's funny how things work out. Good thing they did not have a fucking panel this weekend, because that would have been every question. It would have been awkward.
Yeah.
And you remember, everyone was like, "Oh, no Marvel panel. This sucks." They dodged a fucking bullet this year, especially if
They
been,
knew, dude. They knew.
Yeah, especially they knew.
They're the ones who leaked it.
Oh god. But like that's the other thing. I was almost a little surprised that they fired him Comic-Con weekend too, because all the nerds
Dude, they
are
probably had
talking about it.
their like finger on the button for months now, just waiting for people to start talking about this shit, and then they'd instantly bop.
I don't think so. I
don't think they would just do a knee-jerk reaction with 1 hour. This guy's gone.
I think
they're way too big of a company. I think they're way too smart. I think there's too much money on the line. Really, they're a business, and they're weighing things. They've been thinking about this for years.
the only thing that
They knew about this since before they were working with him. They knew about all this shit he said.
but that's a tough. But that's why I think maybe they could get rid of him now. But I don't think they have been planning on getting rid of him, because for me, if that movie is
I don't know if they've been planning on it, but I think it's certainly been something they've had to keep in the back of their head.
Okay,
They
because yeah,
have
this movie's months away from
steps
production.
in place to get rid of him.
They have the paperwork filled out. They just need Feige's signature.
Would he have been under like a contract or some form for the 3rd movie?
Yeah, but the thing is, probably like most companies, there's probably like a, what do they call that clause? There's
If
a
you tweet inappropriate
no, there is a clause.
pedophile stuff.
Yeah, there is a clause. Like it's
You're blackmailing us, James.
What? Oh, I think there's a technical term, but it's like an image clause where if you hurt the company you work for, so like if I work for McDonald's, I said, hey, McDonald's is a piece of shit. They treat their employees like that. They'd be like, we have cause to fire you now because you tweeted something. You said something about this company. So that's where I think it would void what he has now. I don't know what that does with royalties and whatnot, but.
But Disney's got the money for the lawyers. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
They probably have some wild contract clauses, you know. Just
100%.
Every base covered.
And I don't think he's gonna. I don't think he's gonna fight and put up a stink. If you look at his statement, it's very much like, oh yeah, like I accept this, because he already's been dropped from the Sony panel, stuff like that. Like he's gonna be in director jail for quite a while, you know. So. Yeah. Briggs, what do you, once again, so you're fine, you sit there, so even if, we can debate whether they planned or not, still, it happened officially. Something I'm sure even if they knew could happen, they didn't want to happen. At least let them finish the trilogy and be like, oh, we got the 3 and now James can do whatever. But so, where are you going, Briggs? You bring in Taika, you bring in...
I'm with Ryan on this one. You bring in Taika. I think, for me, what Guardians and needs to lead into is that cosmic sort of adventure with Guardians and Thor just going off doing space stuff.
So that's how you bring on Thor 4 Guardians.
And Taika's already done Thor, and then this is the best way I would say to connect those two sort of teams together. Thor's not really much of a team anymore. Just Thor. But you bring Thor in, you already have Taika who's worked with the Thor stuff. You bring him into Guardians. I think his humor and his style would fit Guardians really well as far as the comedy stuff goes. As far as the emotional things go, I think Ragnarok was lacking a little bit, but I think with much more planning, with that experience under his belt, and with the help of other people, he can definitely hone in on that. And also on top of this, assuming Guardians 3 is at post-Infinity War. I would just assume. So assuming that after such a heavy sort of emotional draining experience, such as the Infinity War Part 2 there, and then also The Last Guardians was very emotional, very heavy. I wouldn't have a problem having a less emotional Guardians. Obviously, it's a huge part of the theme of Guardians, but I wouldn't mind having a much more relaxed, fun sort of idea to set up where they go with this cosmic adventure that's sort of a combination of characters rather than just one sort of team's trilogy per se. So this way they can move towards a new phase, we'll say, and then they've got, I think Taika's got great talent for it, and it's a nice sort of an easier way, a relaxed way to start it and into like the next era of space cosmic adventures.
I think you brought up a very good point about him kind of like leading in the direction of having the Guardians with Thor. This weird conspiracy came to my mind. It's just how
is it a conspiracy or just a thought?
Well, it's a thought.
Cliffhanger.
It's like, what if Disney? I don't remember the director of Ragnarok's name. What is it?
Taika Waititi?
Taika. So I'll call him
They
Taika.
literally just said like a bunch.
I know, but it's a very hard name to remember and get a hold on. It's a Taika. So I could totally just picture maybe like Disney's like, you know what? Taika came in, he revived the Thor franchise, and he just delivered. And after seeing how well his new Thor character has interacted with the Guardians in Avengers, maybe we want to kind of re-emerge some things with Mr. Gunn here and knock him out of the spotlight and get Taika to take
him out of the
over.
spotlight. He did that himself.
Yeah.
Get Taika to come into play here and actually finish off that because of what they saw with Thor and the Guardians and how much chemistry they had. Maybe that's what they want Taika to come in here. So.
And one thing sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
One thing you made me think of there, Briggs, was obviously we have like between Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, we have 3 trilogies now, and I'm just kind of thinking, we talked about this like a few months ago, but what if Thor is going to be the first movie to break past the trilogy and get a 4th movie, and I think it's possible and probably will happen at some point, but they probably want to hold off on that for at least a bit, just to get get Guardians trilogy out there. I don't know, they're probably, I guess they have a few other movies on the list, but they haven't talked about the next Thor movie yet, so it'd be a good way to push that character forward after Infinity War, like you said. And obviously he's the perfect guy for that.
Do you consider the Avengers movie to be like a trilogy right now, and the 4th one would be the first one to break that? Because you said none Marvel movie has broken a trilogy.
It's like 0.5, right? Because it's a part 1, part 2. Because this Infinity War Part 1 didn't have like a set ending. It's a cliffhanger, an actual cliffhanger. So
it kind of is, but like the crossover, and not in the same way I think of like. Because the reason I think it's different with the solo characters, I feel like for the next 10 years we're always going to get Avengers movies, right? That's why like we'll get 5, 6, 7, like those ones I already know because like we'll have a collection of heroes always teaming up where it's not for sure we're getting Iron Man 4, it's not for sure we're getting Cap 4.
To a certain point, like I know it's titled Captain America Civil War, but Civil War still kind of feels like an Avengers movie in many ways. So at that token, they've already kind of done that. They already have the 4 in that, going on 5. So,
for me, I'm going to say I don't think Taika's going to direct it just because...
I don't really think he will either. That's just what I'd like to see.
I agree because I think Thor 4 is going to happen a lot quicker than we think just because I feel like Thor, not to sound like Magato and Zoolander, but he's so hot right now. After Ragnarok and Infinity War and Infinity War 2 or whatever they call Avengers 4, if he has a similar role he did in Avengers, he won that fan poll that we put up. I was shocked by. I feel like after Infinity War and Ragnarok back to back, Thor is becoming a lot of people's favorite. It goes in waves, right? MCU start, Iron Man, hot thing, and then Captain America, oh boom, and then the Guardians, oh we love the Guardians. And now it's like Thor's turn to be like, I'm the head honcho, right? And I feel like because of that, because of Taika, they're going to want to strike quick. Taika's filming a movie right now where he's playing Hitler, imaginary Hitler, so that should be fun. There's a kid that has an imaginary friend and that's Hitler, so that's the movie. So he's doing that. I think he's going to go run to Thor 4. I'm very interested to see how long... I don't think we're going to get a Ron Howard where a director's going to come right away. I think this movie gets delayed almost a good 6 months. The release date might stay the same, but the thing is, these actors and even writers...
Was it 2020 or 2019?
I think it was 2020 was supposed to come up. But like I said, production was coming up next 3 months. They were full ready to go. So the thing why I think they're gonna wait is because you gotta find someone that can gel with this cast as well. Because this cast has been together, they've worked with James since the beginning, and they've always made it sound like they're one big family. They all get along. So this is gonna be a big thing. And for me, I know it's like really pessimistic to say this, but I'm gonna go on thinking Guardians 3 is gonna be one of the weaker Marvel films because I just don't know if anybody else is gonna recapture the magic with this cast crew. Because apparently the plan was Guardians 3 was gonna happen. They're gonna do a Guardians 4, but it might be without James Gunn, and it was gonna be with different characters being Guardians. Kind of swap out some characters because in the books things change. So we'll see. It's just with that, I'm really interested to see what they do with the script. That's my biggest thing because I just feel like that guy would know where these characters are going and has the best touch, and now you don't really want to do that. So it's, yeah.
You know who you give it to? You give it to the guy who directed Baby Driver because...
Edgar Wright? Because he almost directed Ant-Man?
No, because, well, I didn't know that. That's a fun fact as well. Because, he's got that music. He's got that music down, and music is very important for Guardians. More than any other MCU movie. So,
yeah,
that's the possible thing.
He won't do it, though.
He's got sick action skills. He makes some cool characters.
Yeah.
So, I mean... You get some other writers in there to help them out with some humor, perhaps, and I think you...
What if you get a director that's very fond of AC/DC?
Oh, so John Favreau?
I don't know. I don't think AC/DC really fits the Guardians vibes. I just want someone who's gonna put some Steely Dan in the fucking movie. Jeez, Guardians is the perfect place to do it. So many good options.
I'm trying to really think who could direct this. I'm trying to think out of the non-Marvel family. Edgar Wright was a good call, but just because of his experience with Ant-Man, I don't think it's going to happen.
Was he working on Ant-Man, or was it
He
just
was
like
the director of Ant-Man for, so what happened was...
Oh, he was part of that contract.
He, was directing Ant-Man for 10 years, and then... Well, they were trying to get it going, and then Disney bought Marvel, and we're going to do this, and then... His problem was, and that's why I don't think he do it, he didn't like that it had to be so tied to the MCU and everything like that. He didn't like having to connect
That would
shit.
be a big problem.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe now it's a different time. He's like, damn, that's a lot of money. I could do it. I could do it now, Disney.
Yeah,
I could be your guy. Look at my tweets. I'm all clean.
For some reason, I think we're going to get... Look at my tweets. I'm going to go with prediction. I'm going to say we're going to get someone that's not directed a Marvel movie yet, because I could be wrong. I think full on...
What if Feige's just like, you know what, we got no one else.
I'm
stepping in.
Yeah.
Takes off the hat. He's going in.
It's on a new hat.
What would
It's on
you
the
do?
Guardians hat. Takes off the Marvel.
Are you just looking up... Not David Ayer, who directed Suicide Squad.
James Franco.
James Franco?
James Franco,
I guess he doesn't have any controversy on his shoulders right now.
Yeah, I don't think you get James Franco. I'm trying to think of other good...
Christopher Nolan.
Tarantino.
Oh,
I want to see Nolan just make that no Guardians humor, just super serious Guardians and whatnot. That's one because
I mean, realistically, Tarantino would make the best Guardians movie.
He's making a Star Trek movie, so he's gonna be busy with that. So
Tarantino's doing a Star Trek
Maybe
movie?
Star Trek
Yes.
movie's the working
No
title
way.
of Guardians movie.
oh
What's that?
god.
Maybe that's just the working title of Guardians.
Yeah, that's a
movie.
good way to hide it. Just call it something else, a different.
What's all these space sets for? Oh, Star Trek. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna think on that. I had all day to think about it. I'm busy, but yeah. So, yeah. Anything else to add on this James Gunn?
One more question for you guys. Do you think that because James Gunn's brother was a character in Guardians, do you think he's gonna be in this movie? He is the I forget his name always,
I
but
think he's gone.
Well, he plays two
he's
characters
Yondu's
actually.
cousin.
He's not.
Essentially,
It's,
Yondu's assistant.
I'll find out his name.
The guy with the
the
funny
new
voice.
Mohawk dude.
Yes.
Yeah. So, do you think he's in this movie?
No.
Really? They just remove him.
Yep.
And he also did.
How's his?
I think they do the classic. They just write him off in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
He's
like-
outdoing.
It's like
renegade
verbatim the
stuff.
scene. Like
Craiglin was
Infinity
his
War.
name. Craiglin was his
He's
name.
outdoing his bandit things, and that's it.
And then he also does all the mocap for Rocket as well.
No, so they can't get rid of him. No one else can do that.
So
What if they?
They bring in Andy
I was
Serkis.
just thinking that, yeah.
And he plays the same character. It's just a recast, like
He
Rhodey.
plays Craiglin.
he plays James Gunn, directing the movie.
And they kill him in the movie. Wow, that would be fun.
Yikes.
Well, whoever.
Well, so-
Jesus.
Well, you know what? Sorry, we have a fan art thing, boss mode level. You know what? Put in the Venom link trailer because I don't think they even linked the Venom. There's no Venom trailer live.
I
right
wouldn't
now.
click any link this guy posted.
No,
It's pretty
honestly,
sketchy.
you should ask him. Donate on Patreon, and we'll
Oh
talk
God,
about it.
no,
We're
we're
not
not.
that kind of podcast.
We're waiting. I'm gonna.
Maybe you are that kind of podcast, but I'm certainly.
You know what? In honor of that, we'll talk about Venom right now. I'll talk about that in a second. But the thing is, with Venom, there's no actual trailer out right now. People are losing their minds. They showed it in Hall H. I'll check one more time to see if it's actually they released it. I don't think they did. But everyone's losing their minds because apparently Venom in this trailer, he bites off a guy's head in it.
Is it like an R-rated trailer? Like,
I don't know for sure, but it's biting the guy's
I don't know,
head.
that's
many
pretty
trailers
trailers of people biting off heads.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like.
It's been a good minute.
No, I
since
thought
I've
this was
created
like
that.
for.
If he-
Well, we
Yeah,
debated
for
that, right?
his
It
We
depends
had
on
talked
what
about
he
that.
lets his kid watch, you know. So, but
Talk
yeah,
about Venom. Talk about
I
Venom.
don't think we're Boston. I don't think we're getting to see that Venom trailer now. If
Maybe
we do, we'll talk
Boston was
about it.
there and he wants us to talk about it.
Yeah, maybe, but yeah,
You gotta share us your eyes.
yeah. No, I'm very excited for that.
I
Tom
sure.
Tom Hardy just said
That'd
that.
be a technology. It's
Tom
Black
Hardy,
Mirror episode.
Boss Mode, you better throw us a like for this bombarding in the chat.
Yeah.
We moved them,
We
but
just read all your messages.
Tom Hardy just said that he apologized. He's like, "Oh, I feel like this is Marvel's coolest character and whatnot, everything
Best
like that."
hero.
So, best hero. You
Best
saw
hero.
that?
I
Yeah,
read that.
Oh,
Best hero, yeah. Which he's an anti-hero, but that's
So
fine.
he's apologizing for biting someone.
Well, he's trying because he's in Comic Con. Like he doesn't want to shit on Spider-Man or shit on the MCU. He doesn't want to get fired by Disney now.
Right.
So.
Wait, I'm so
Deleting his
confused.
tweets.
I feel like I'm missing some piece of information. Why is he apologizing?
No, he's not. He's just like prefacing with saying like, there's a lot of great heroes out there, but I think sorry, but I think Venom's the best of them all.
Like,
He doesn't
his
want to
Venom?
trigger anyone.
Or like just
Oh,
Venom.
okay.
I think he said Venom in general, like the character, and he did emphasize again that
Venom's a cool character.
he did emphasize again that he wanted to do something that his son could watch, but in this trailer apparently he gets his head
Maybe his
cut.
son is violent. I don't know.
Yeah, they say Tom Hardy said
Kids these
they
days playing Call of Duty and.
Tom Hardy said they
Assassin's
stay
Creed,
pretty
yeah.
close to the
Kids.
lethal protector. They stay pretty close to
That'd be
Lethal
funny.
Protector graphic novel or just arc, so that's pretty cool. It's a very popular anti-hero Venom arc. So
Sick.
yeah, I'm trying to look at. He really want to do something his son could watch. He's a huge Venom fan.
All right.
Um,
next
I don't know why
topic.
he's
Hang on, I'm just
apologizing
reading.
for that.
Apparently there was a
I think it's just because you don't want to trigger people.
what?
Because other people are.
Oh no,
huge.
sorry. That Spider-Verse stuff, and it said
Oh.
villains include Kingpin. I was like, Kingpin's in fucking Venom. That means Netflix. But no, sorry.
I feel like it's like a bunch of people are like, oh, Spider-Man's my favorite hero, Doctor Strange's my favorite hero.
Why
and
aren't they
he's like,
apologizing to him? That's
well,
what
those
I
are
wanna know.
the fans, and this is the guy starring in the movie, and he's saying like, I'm
Doesn't
sorry,
matter.
but I feel like as he said, Marvel's best superhero movie is Venom. That's what he's saying, but he's saying it like from his opinion, where he's not gonna trigger anyone because we've
So
seen
he's
fans get
triggered.
Yeah,
triggered.
well, if Hugh Jackman was like Wolverine's, I think is Marvel's best superhero. Yeah, I'm like, good for you, Wolverine.
I think he's saying it because Venom is like, calm down, Dylan. It's a popular thing, Venom's like gonna be a huge meme October.
I just looked at the time like, should I invite people over? A lot of people over tonight. And
Well,
we are
I would
running
say,
over
yeah,
time.
I know.
Because we were
I'd say that was Greg's fault.
You're right.
So we gotta drop a topic. What's the topic?
There's honestly no other. There's
I'm
two
joking,
topics after
so
this.
let's go to the next topic.
Hey, we're not done yet. Hang
No,
on.
we're done.
The crowd was
Do it.
chanting.
No.
The crowd was chanting, "We are Venom," so they're pretty hyped by this trailer.
Tyler
So
Saris is in the living room. He can occupy
You
children.
don't know that. It's
Um,
probably play a Fallout floor.
the,
Yeah,
the
people
director
cannot
said there may or
follow
may not be
forward.
other villains in this movie, so I guess that's probably a hint
That's
mention.
fine.
May or may
Orange.
not.
Yeah.
Villain is subjective.
It kind
Are
of
they
is.
villain or
Yeah.
heroes?
You're right.
I guess
That's
we're gonna
pedestrian.
find out. You gain
Okay.
one subscriber. You know what? There. See, Dylan, we gained one subscriber. Thank Boss Mo.
Boss
Mo.
Level 100.
Yo,
Let's
level
go.
100. That's
We love
max
you.
level in many games.
Check out all the other stuff. If you want, we talked
Some games
about.
don't even go up to 100.
If you like.
And he made it.
With Venom, if you like that, we did talk about the first two trailers previously, and if you really like Venom, we do a Spider-Man retrospective of the animated show. We've reviewed the
All the
Venom,
movies?
yeah, all the movies. We reviewed the Venom thing, the Venom episodes.
Yes,
There's a
yes,
few,
yes.
so we've done a lot with Venom. So go back and check. There's lots of Venom
Our
content.
venomous cast.
Venom.
You know what? A lot of content we don't have is about Glass because it dropped its very first trailer today. The sequel to Split and Unbreakable. If you think it's a spoiler now, go fuck off. You've had over 2 years to figure it out. I'm very excited for this. You can go back to my solo review that I did 2 years ago. I knocked the movie points because I was like, at that end credit scene, I'm like, that's fine. It's a cute little end credit scene, but we're never gonna get like a crossover of the Unbreakable universe. I thought they just threw that in there for shits and giggles. I thought no chance, and then 2 days later, like, yeah, that was the point. We're doing that. I was like, well, fuck me. Travis told you wrong. Like I was completely wrong. This trailer is phenomenal. This trailer is like everything I've ever wanted and more. I think the best thing is the vibes of Split and the vibes of Unbreakable are meshing really well. Split is a very like hardcore horror, like very in-your-face violent movie, where Unbreakable is much more about psychology, and they talk multiple times about the idea and ideology. Thank you, of a superhero and a supervillain in comic books and whatnot, and they do it in a way that doesn't feel cheesy or over like ham-fisted, because the whole movie, it is a superhero movie, but you don't really feel like that till like the last half an hour. It's a superhero origin movie, and obviously they go back to Glass's comic book shop, and they talk about that, how, you know, every hero needs their villain, and that villain is all about bronze, and the hero's all about bronze, and the villain is about brains, and they can't do much, and that's their thing. And he talks about at one point how villains in comic books will use other villains, like another villain that might be bronze, to use them and get them to fight the hero, and Split said that perfectly, and I love that they're so blunt about, because they should be. That's how Unbreakable is, when he's just like, this sounds like a super villain team up, and it's like, this is great. The score of the trailer is great. I love that whatever asylum they're in looks great. David Dunn looked great. Just the shots of him back in the trench coat and everything like that. Bruce Willis always gets me worried, because he's kind of like Harrison Ford. When he's invested, he's a great actor, but then there's other times where he just phones it in. Harrison Ford has not been doing that lately. Bruce Willis, I couldn't tell you the last good Bruce Willis performance. It's been quite a while, so I'm really hoping this is his like Han Solo or his Blade Runner, and he turns it on. Sarah Paulson, I'm so fucking mad. She was one of my picks in the superhero draft. I completely forgot about her. She's like the therapist at the beginning. She was in Ocean's 8. She's in American Horror Story. Fantastic actress. I love that they're bringing on Taylor Joy back. Whatever they're doing with her, and well, I guess whoever he will be in that scene, but when she's like touching him, and obviously there's probably some therapy going on where they're trying to break through to the Beast or David, or what's his real name? Patricia. I'm just gonna call him Patricia. So yeah, and then Shyamalan said that he does over 21 personalities in this movie, so it just looks damn good. So this is one of my most anticipated movies next year, and it's in January, so we don't gotta wait long. So I cannot wait for Glass.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
Is Glass referred to at all in Unbreakable?
No, he's not.
Is he like? Where is he from? Like, would we have known about him before through any means, or is he just
like in Split or in this sequel?
In this movie universe.
Well, have you seen Unbreakable?
No.
Okay, well that's the movie. Yeah.
So there's a whole Mr. Glass is in Unbreakable.
Yes. Okay, that's like it's a super villain superhero origin, and that's you learn about why his body, like why he's glass. Like he was called Glass because his bones just break if he even just falls and stuff like that. David Dunn is pretty much just Luke Cage, where he has super vulnerability, he can break stuff, he has visions as well, so Luke Cage doesn't do that. But yeah, so you should definitely watch Unbreakable before Glass, because they're going to do a lot of callbacks to that movie. Glass's mother's in this trailer, so yeah, lots of callbacks coming.
Yeah, I haven't seen Unbreakable yet, but Split was fairly enjoyable. I've only seen it the one time, so I gotta rewatch it. But you know, James McAvoy just popped off hard. You know, that's not an easy movie to act in for sure, and he nailed it. So shoutouts to him, and I'm really excited. This just that shot of just the three of them sitting there, all kind of with their own like distinct look, doing their own thing. It just got me hyped. Like just seeing those three, and I'm really excited to see like the three of them acting together, playing off each other. We've seen them all before, and they're all amazing. So I mean, Bruce Willis, I don't have as much of a history with him really. Like I haven't even seen much of his movies in general, but he still throws it down when he needs to. So, and Samuel L. Jackson is obviously phenomenal. So I'm really excited to see that. And I haven't seen Unbreakable yet, so can't say too much. But yeah, great. It was a really good trailer. Really well done trailer. Easily like one of my most anticipated movies now.
You're gonna watch Unbreakable before Glass?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. Pretty good.
I think the trailer was fantastic. I really like the movie Split. I think it was super cool.
Have you also not seen Unbreakable?
I have not seen Unbreakable. We'll have to do a Unbreakable.
Have you seen Breakable?
Breakable? Is that a wrestling movie or a boxing movie?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's a
It's
UFC
not a movie.
UFC movie.
It's a Wii Sports movie.
Google it.
I'm IMDbing it
100%
right
it's a
now.
movie.
I feel like it's a
There's
movie.
no way it's not a movie.
That name is too good.
Just
to
keep
not be
talking
a
while I
name.
look at this. Don't have people outside. Oh, I gotta attend
Oh,
them.
people outside.
So yeah, I've
Story.
definitely seen Split. Split was a great movie, had me on the edge of my seat, and when I got to that end scene and I see
Just short films, motherfuckers.
Motherfucker.
What
What's
about
wrong with
Great
that?
Hope?
I
Breakable
consider
You
short
doesn't
film a
even
film.
count.
Would you say a short story is not a story? Of course you wouldn't. It's still a story.
No, I think, but to me, there's a
No.
difference between short film and film. Short films usually don't come out in theaters, so
What? Who cares about
They
theaters?
have.
us.
They have.
They have, but not
Yeah.
usually. Not usually. It's not common.
Doesn't matter.
I will definitely see this movie in theaters. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a good time, and I love the vibe. How I feel like it's what you said about Bruce Willis has definitely got some truth to it. I feel like every movie he's in, going from G.I. Joe to like
Oh,
Red
G.I.
Joe.
Joe. Oh, yeah.
He's
I definitely phoned that one in. I'm
He's-
Joe.
He's the same character in all these movies.
Yeah.
But that profile picture.
Enough of it.
I'm
Get over
sorry.
it.
But I think he just feels so different in the atmosphere of this film. And like you said, when you see all three different characters, like I don't know about Glass or
David Dunn.
David
David Dunn.
Mr. Dunn. His name is, how do you spell his last name in the movie?
D-U-N-N.
Holy shit. That's
Are there
freaky. I'll
other
tell you.
ways to
I'll tell you
spell
the significance of that after the cast.
Oh,
But I just think that's very cool.
I
though.
know the significance of it.
He knows. So I think it's very cool. It's very cool. I think they each are going to deliver professional and very.
They are professional.
How do you
by
get that from the trailer?
definition.
I can't agree with you about Willis from the trailer, though. I don't think we see enough of him to be like, because there's no acting scenes. It's just him getting thrown around a lot. Like, I'm talking about like when he has to speak.
I don't know, man.
I
It's
don't
pretty
know.
hard to like act bumping into someone genuinely, like as if you didn't plan it, you know, and you just naturally bump into someone. He
One
nailed that.
incredible actor can do more with just his eyes than a group of actors in a
It's
room.
not Tom Hardy
you know?
here.
No, but this is Bruce Willis.
We're not talking about Venom anymore, guys.
Come on, boss mode. Yeah. Did you have anything you wanted to add on Bumblebee? Because they didn't release a new trailer.
Yes.
I don't have much to say. They confirmed John Cena's the villain. Great. Optimus Prime is in this movie. I'm slowly checking out of this movie because it just seems more and more that it's connecting to Transformers, and I haven't watched those, so maybe I'll give this one a shot if I can. I got Cinemia, so maybe if I haven't.
Yeah, you gotta send me. You gotta do it now.
We're not gonna talk about it tonight.
No,
We're not
it
gonna
doesn't
talk about
matter.
it tonight because we don't have time apparently. But
Hey, this guy was late, man.
all in 7 days in
Like this
December.
about me. I
In
never
December
said-
in 7 days, Spider-Verse, Aquaman, Bumblebee, Mary Poppins, Alita Battle Angel, and there's one other one are all releasing in the same week.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's too much.
So
I don't have
some-
that much money.
Yeah, so some people have said, hey, maybe Aquaman tomorrow there could be an announcement of it moving dates. We'll see, but yeah, if that all stays, that's not good. But I'm gonna see them all because Cinemia, man. I'm
Say
well,
Lemmy.
not
Okay.
Bumblebee, but
You're gonna see
Bumblebee.
Mary Poppins over
no, I'll see Bumblebee over
Oh,
Mary
okay.
Poppins.
Yeah.
Fuck Mary Poppins. Why are we doing this shit? No one gives a fuck.
They should have done the.
You heard
Oh,
they didn't bump Han Solo in December because of fucking Mary Poppins. Are you kidding me with this shit?
They tried.
Got the check, fine.
Bumblebee, yeah, if indeed the rumors are true and that is Starscream thrown in there, then I'm down. I think Bumblebee Starscream got an awesome little rivalry thing going on in the movies. I think the other two villains that they revealed are pretty sick. They're looking awesome. I can't remember their names though. Usually I'm pretty good at remembering the Transformer and Decepticon names. I really like their names. They're always so unique.
Wrench bolt.
Wrenchbolt? Well, they're more like a Barricade,
Skid mark.
Blackout. There is Skid.
Who's boat? Justin Incredible.
But I'm so excited for Bumblebee. The more and more that's coming up.
Little Jimmy.
I know I was a little hesitant at first.
Boss
but I was just-
mode.
Boss mode. I was a little.
mode?
I
Is
can't
that
remember
actual?
all the things I
No,
said in
that's our new
previous
subscriber.
casts,
Number
but
one.
I just I'm feeling much more better and better about this. And just how it looks and just. If Optimus Prime, I mean, it's a given he has to make an appearance.
No,
in
he doesn't have to make an appearance.
Why would he
Fuck.
have to?
Yeah.
this. It's
Just
like
bump the
Batman.
button.
It's like Batman has to make an appearance in a Joker movie. You could
No,
say.
he doesn't. We just talked about this. That he doesn't have to.
We had this conversation yesterday.
and I think you agreed.
2 days ago, actually.
Check it out. Geek
This week.
YouTube.
It's like it's like you need to have.
Throw one directed at me so I can tell you why you're wrong.
Could have Mario with Luigi.
It's like you need to
No,
have
because we had Luigi's Mansion.
It's like you need to have a Weevil with an Exodia deck, Exodia cards. Fuck.
Fuck.
Okay, you got me there.
Gotta tickle that itch sometimes, you
Tickle
know.
the itch.
Dude, I have one question. Is John Cena playing a human villain or is he just voicing someone?
He's a human villain.
Uh,
He's part of the army.
He got his own
He's
separate
a
entrance
human car.
at the Comic-Con panel. He got his own separate entrance to the crowd.
Really?
Yeah.
Did he do
Oh, wow.
like the theme song and everything?
He did a different theme song, so it's like a more villainous song.
He
but-
did
The same one in reverse.
Do you have anything else that
I will point out the fact that John Cena is a villain is pretty cool because humans as villain, like he'd be cool to see as a villain, but humans as villains in the Transformers movies are legit pretty badass the way they take down Transformers.
I'm not gonna agree with you on that standpoint.
You haven't seen them though.
No, I've seen enough.
I've seen them all. Mark. I'm done. Not even gonna go for it.
I'm excited for John Cena because this is another step in his career, and I'm excited to see him play a bad guy. Even if you think about The Rock, he hasn't really played a bad guy on screen. John Cena also.
I don't know. Some would say he's the villain in that skyscraper movie.
True. Yeah.
So you
for
probably
that building.
out of wrestlers that have
His
done
big
villains.
weight brought that
Oh,
thing down.
would you
on
say-
fire.
Where are you going?
I'm going
Name all the
Triple H.
Oh no. Check out our Blade 3 retrospective on Patreon right now for $1. You can get that and Blade 2. No, I just think it's a good muscle for him to stretch. It'll widen his acting horizon.
Widen his acting.
It'll help, and I still think I picked him for the draft, so I think he has a comic role in him some way. So, yeah, is that everything then? I think
For
that's
Bumblebee,
yeah.
yes.
I think that's everything. Yeah, that's everything we need to talk about. I was quickly gonna throw out that Taylor said he had brunch today at
Oh fuck, here we go.
Yeah, I was gonna do this at the beginning of the cast, but it was a serious conversation. But he's like, "Oh, I just got back from brunch." He gets off at 2, so that means he ate brunch 2 to 3. I don't classify that as brunch anymore. Would you guys agree to that?
Lunch I think is fair game all the way up to about 3:30, so I think he's actually fair game, but just
What did you
barely.
eat? What did you
Barely.
Not
What
the
I eat?
Dutch.
Yeah,
I ate a
what you ate.
poutine.
That's not brunch.
No,
It has to be a breakfast.
I wouldn't
meal.
classify poutine as any sort of meal. I would just say I had a poutine.
but I would not classify it as a breakfast meal, which you need
No.
to be having breakfast at the lunchtime.
Is that how brunch works?
Yes.
Breakfast food at
Brunch,
lunch.
Breakfast
second
for
dinner,
lunch.
Have
supper.
Have you ever had hash browns in the
luncheon.
morning?
Yeah, there
Hash
you
browns
go.
are essentially fries.
What if you're
No,
having?
but no.
So what if you're
Have
having
you had
breakfast?
gravy on your eggs?
So what if
No.
you're going to
What the fuck?
Gravy on your eggs.
Have you?
I'm gonna delete those tweets.
So then, what would you call having breakfast at dinner time then?
What?
Breakfast at dinner
Insane.
time.
Summer.
Yeah.
Delicious. I don't know.
Dinner,
Yeah.
second meal, brunch, snack, dinner, luncheon. That's
Interesting,
Pippin
interesting.
shout and lower the
Pippin.
ratings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pippin.
Anything else we want to say?
Thank you.
You're
This far
welcome,
in.
Dylan.
Yeah, I think it was a good cast. We talked about some dramatic stuff. We usually don't do that, but I think we had a good, educated conversation.
Yeah.
Let us know. I'll throw you
You
in
know,
a
we
second.
had
I'm just
serious, we had the
talking about-
emotional. We also had funny, so I think maybe we should direct Guardians 3.
It's like a good porn. It's all the things you look for, you know? So,
Flawed.
yeah, I think what you should do is obviously subscribe and up, but let us know in the comments below. How do you feel about the situation? Because obviously this is a big topic. I really like to know how you guys feel. You think they should have fired him? Should have maybe just gave him a fine, suspension? I don't know. Taylor,
Fine.
I don't know.
Is that
like,
something they do?
they do in sports, right? So I just thought like, hey, like,
Give him a red card.
would he direct the movie if they say you can direct the movie, but you'll receive $0?
Would he do it?
Yeah, that's the fine.
I'd do it, but
Yeah, I think he would.
I think you would too.
But either way, what you're throwing your arms, what do you need to throw out? What do you need to yell about?
I want to throw The Walking Dead. The new season trailer dropped. You know, that was your zombie growl.
No.
I thought that was Dylan barfing.
No, it's Dylan
it
something
was
else in the
reverse
alley.
barf.
Reverse barf. You know, I'm pretty
Just
excited for
kidding.
this. I'm curious to see where it goes because obviously it is
breathing. I don't know.
Rick Grimes' final appearance.
Rimmel.
So that's
Rimmel.
always interesting. I think I'm curious to
Crime.
see how they're going to end it. Obviously, they're going to keep going on with the seasons, which I feel like, you know, once he makes his departure, the show should come to a close, in my personal opinion. You know, they got Fear the Walking Dead. They could transfer over to and let that run for a little bit longer, but, you know, I think it's cool. I just hope that, you know, we eventually wrap up the humans stuff here and actually get full on all these hundreds of humans fighting off zombies. I want to see
Hundreds.
the zombies again. The
I want to see
thousands
them
of
cast
billions.
hundreds of people.
They're walkers, Taylor. Just so you know, they're not
Runners.
zombies. thank you very much for tuning in. You can go down below in the description to find all the links because we got to get out of here. But we'll be back tomorrow. Aquaman, Shazam, maybe Wonder Woman, got Fantastic Beasts, got a bunch of stuff.
Yes.
But yeah, maybe there'll be some other news because Clone Wars happened, James Gunn happened. You never know. It's been the Comic-Con of just random news happening. So thank you very much. Tune in tomorrow, and it will definitely not be boring.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Later, nerds.
Let's
Hurry, I gotta get out there. My people are waiting.
My people are